Well, hello, hello, hello. Good evening once again. Thank you for joining us. This will be a Tuesday evening. Last night we showed up real quick and sat a quick spell. You saw the lovely autumn gathering pressbook ringed journal that I put together. And tonight I wanted to show off the final presentation of the Blue Autumn Fairytale bag purse journal. It is a gift bag that we turned into sort of a purse-like effect. I love when it sits upright. When you hold the handles, it has all this pretty yumminess, like as if all of it's sticking out of the purse. And you would of course gather it and hold it here. This is an old vintage clip-on earring that I did put some foam on to keep it in place, but it does not close this up completely because I want you to be able to open it and pull out what's in the back. But when it's sitting on your desk, you've got this gorgeous little bling sitting here. You could probably put your pen in here. If you had a pen, of course, a better color, but you could clip your pen onto the handle so it keeps it all together. Isn't that cute? There you go. I'd find preferably, I would find a pretty blue one. That's me, but I don't have a blue one now that I think about it. So, anyway, it has some great things. It is tied together to keep it from flopping open when you're traveling with it, right? If you wanted to run around with it. I think this journal, being very princessy based, it was inspired by Cinderella. That's hence why we did a lot of blue gowns in the Victorian era. But because she was carried away by a autumn pumpkin carriage. And pumpkins are usually only in the fall. And I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that Cinderella was somewhat of a, fall princess. And at least all in all in the end, right? So we definitely did the carriages, the blues, the oranges, and being that orange is fall and blue is a great complementary color, it just ended up being a really great kit. And so I had to make really quickly a journal to go with it. Now I got this bag and I thought it made a good size for a cover. I'm letting the front be a little smaller, letting the journal stick out, and then of course just utilizing all of its elements as is. So we have the gorgeous cover. You guys got to watch me do a little bit on camera. You have shown it off. Of course, it's an Instagram where you see me actually put it all together. But I mean, we've got, glitter in here and layers, and it's just so pretty. I love it. All right. And then on the back, you should have seen this past Saturday as we finished this up. We got to layer all this up, give it a nice, gorgeous purse backing. You got the cover feel, but you also have the gorgeous, just all the elements of a gorgeous purse, right? I think this is really pretty for a really fancy purse. So personally, we just untie it and we have the inside. So this inside natural fold to the bag lets us have a small, somewhat shallow, but just the right layer for a journal, some couple journal cards that we went ahead and did, right? And everything's writable on the back. I always try to make sure, because it's not a lot of fun when you can't. Now, this was meant to be as a lookbook at first, just something beautiful that was inspired by princesses in the Victorian area, ball gowns, the big balls, masquerades, and all that. It was just going to be a lookbook inside a purse, but I ended up with about 13 or 14 pages you could write on. Now, my thought is if you are a huge princess fan, you're a huge Disneyland fan, I would take this with you and your girls, and I would think it'd be fun to have the princesses autograph this book, right? They could autograph it. You could take a picture, you or your girls with the princesses, and then you could come home and print them out and make a wonderful journal as a memory keeping moment of your lovely moments of getting to meet all your favorite princesses, right? I think it'd be cool that way. Otherwise, I would find another fun moment, whether it's books, whether it's something within the fairy tale. It could be notes about a wedding. Since that's in some girls' minds of, a wedding is a fairy tale. But you do have, like up here you could write on, and there are 13 or 14 of these pages you could write on. There's more pages in general, but you do have like 14 pages to write on, which is great. I did take a few pieces of the middle of the kit because of the flowers and like just some of the decor and the ability to write on them. I did decide to add those in because I felt we needed a little more. Otherwise, I just glued my pages front and back because I didn't print on the back of them, and gave you a nice thicker pages to work on. And when I could, I glued lace in between and gave you little dangles and whatnot. So because the lace is in between, it's not blocking one side or the other, and it doesn't feel like it's competing. Found an old letter, printed it out on some parchment marbled paper, and it looks old, which I love, without being old and, you know, using up a really good vintage piece. There's your middle. Put some pumpkins up in the corner, but you do have more signature space, memories, little pictures. You could do a couple things in that space nicely. And there's the other side. Went ahead where I could, whether it be Milva or whether it be, like here, I went ahead and added, I had leftover fussies, and so I added them to the pages that didn't quite have any elements from the kit, and sort of went ahead and added them in. I was stoked to find I had this one little bit left of this one edge, and it's not white, it's not silver, it has a great shine to it, and it pulled nicely from this background page and the coloring, so I was super stoked that it wasn't just the blue I had. But oh, and then there's a little key. We had the key in a couple of things, and since Cinderella, Rapunzel, and a number of others were always locked up in some tower with some key. Wicked Witch, Stepmom, whoever had a key to something, right? So I felt we needed to have this bronzy blue teal key attached to our kit. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You add a little gadgets. You have thin papers. You have what looks like, feels like antique pages. You have nice thick ones to keep this from being, you know, too flimsy. And then in the back, hopefully you got to watch me do this pharmacy bag that we turned into a 3-part. You can tuck a letter back here. You've got journal cards in a couple places, right? And with journal cards, we have journal cards, tags, little bits of ephemera, and even this, little notes, dates, something can be attached to that. And then a little goodie in here that whoever gets it can go looking for it. And then originally, because I didn't think this was going to be much of a writing book, I was able to create 4 very large cards to put in your back pocket. So they have glitter on them, right? But they also have all this huge writing space. Yes, you're going to have to brush off some of the glitter. Sorry. But look, you have 4 of these that are huge in the sense of how much writing space you have. So 14 pages, 4 very large writing cards, plus some ephemera in here to write in. And yes, I went crazy with the glitter, so be careful. I mean, it's glued, but I may have to do some adhesive, I may think. Oh man, I may have to do that dry adhesive spray on these guys to keep some of it from going anywhere. But I love it. They're absolutely gorgeous. We have these in. I enlarged them for this kit, for this journal, so you guys can have like the biggest writing cards in them. Isn't that great? Oh. So there is a good amount of writing space in this book that wasn't meant to be a writing book, but I think it's going to be a great autograph book. I think it's going to be a great way to keep memories for a trip like something like Disneyland or Renaissance, Victorian, anything that sort of fits that feel. And I think it's going to be a great little, way to remember that lovely time that you may have had. And if not, it's just something really pretty to look at during the autumn season. If you have a blue room, you do a lot of, Victorian pieces. Great just to sit in office or decorative guest room. Really pretty. So I am selling it. Now Lorette showed it a couple days ago. I think on Sunday night, Monday morning, did show it. And, if it doesn't say sold in the title of this video, then it is still up for grabs. I'm trying to keep it off Etsy. If you can tag me, you can message me here. You can message me, of course, on her video, my video, Instagram, Facebook, underneath the upside down triangle or the show more under what little text you see under this video. You can go down and click on my last link, and that has all my social media elements, and that allows you to find ways to get a hold of me. I check my phone regularly. I'm notified about just about everything. And if you decide that it's something you want, the first person, of course, to claim it gets a shot at it, and I will invoice you via PayPal to keep the costs down for you and to keep the fees down for me. We are trying to sell some handmade things right now outside of Etsy. Etsy's fees are pretty high. Digital, it's still a little bit of money, but it's international. My handmade things are only sold in the U.S., so I'm so sorry for my international watchers and subbies, but it's just, takes months to get to you. It may never make it to you, so then I'm having to give back the money, and I have no journal to sell. So right now, as long as I'm staying United States, U.S. based, I can use the PayPal, and we can get things shipped to you pretty quickly. And I can keep those fees to a minimum. And in the new year, I'm going to have to reassess all of that and find a website that's not going to gouge me every time I turn around for all the handmade items that I want to make. So if I slow down the digital end, you know, my handmade stuff can be still sold and not cost me an arm and a leg, or you, for that matter. So, please, if it doesn't say sold in the title, please reach out and let me know if this is something that interests you for your next outing, your next adventure, your next fairy tale, and a great way to keep memories, or just to be able to look at it on your desk, on your shelf, in your collection. We all like to have pretty things to look at. And otherwise, it will go up in Etsy in another day or two, and but I'll have to raise the price, which is a bummer. So try to get it at a steal if you're interested as soon as possible. But it's always better to reach out. You never know. And I really appreciate you guys watching me go through this for the past week and a half, 2 weeks. Like, love, comment, notifications, subscribe. Hopefully you'll keep following me along. Christmas is next. At least a digital kit should be out hopefully sometime next week. So there will be a pause. I'll try to find something to do near the end of the week to put up on a video. And after seeing me every other day for almost 2 weeks, it's like, eek! But I got to get some digitals done so that we can have those projects, so we can have Christmas projects to do. And there are plenty of Christmas digitals in my shop. So if you're ready for Christmas now, there are digitals up and running in my seasonal category. And otherwise, there's a new one coming. If you love Santas and vintage and reds and greens, I've got another one on its way. So we're collaborating with Lorette Chandler over at Vintage Paper Girl, and we're going to try to put a nice kit out for you guys. So love you all very much. Thank you oh so very much for watching me here, Jolene Jewel Design. And I hope you've enjoyed the past 2 weeks as we are now into October and enjoying hopefully every moment as it's staying cool and feeling like fall finally. Love you all very much. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.